It's Sarah MacNeil from the Calm team. We're just going to do a couple of short videos regarding sleep and how to get comfortable in the evening. Just wanted to start off by reminding you a little bit about posture and the spine. So I haven't got a whole skeleton, I'm afraid, but I have got the spine. Just to show you that we normally have a slight forwards curve in our neck and a slight outwards backwards curve in our middle back, and again a slight forwards curve in our lower back. And when we're sleeping at night time, it's just thinking about how can we support those curves. Also just important to remember that we have got a wide pelvis, and actually our shoulders are also wide, so they come out to here and here, and then we have the waist here. So again, just thinking about how we can support those curves when you're sleeping at night time, because pain frequently affects sleep for people. Again, thinking that your shoulders would come here, so how do we get support for the neck without putting all the weight through the shoulders, so that we try and keep some nice spinal alignment. So just that's a brief reminder just to think about those things. Thank you. Hi, my name is Sarah MacNeil from the Calm team, and this is my model,
Tamzin Bunton.
So we're just today going to talk about how to optimise your sleep position at night time. We know that pain will continue to disrupt your sleep. So it's just thinking about how can you use pillows and towels to try and get yourself as comfortable as you can, to try and give yourself a slightly longer period of sleep, a slightly better quality of sleep. So we're going to just start with lying on your back. Tamzin, how do you feel just lying there on the hospital plinth, which is not very comfortable?
Uncomfortable,
not
particularly in my lower back.
So uncomfortable in her lower back. So what I'm going to do is just do some adjustments which you can think about trying at home. Remember, we're thinking about the curve here, and I'd imagine Tamzin's back doesn't feel terribly supported, so it's about trying to relax that. So I'm going to pop a pillow under her knees and then just see how she feels there. How is that, Tamzin?
Slightly better, but still uncomfortable.
So slightly better, but still uncomfortable. So I'm going to just put another thin pillow under her knees, just for me, and relax down. Obviously, we wouldn't expect you to lift both your legs at one time like Tamzin does there. Tamzin, how does that feel?
Yeah,
it feels a bit
relaxed, softened.
So what we've done by bending her knees is it helped her back to just relax a little bit more into the surface it's resting on, okay? Just to remember though that what we don't want you to do is wake up in the morning without stretching your knees out, because they can feel a bit stiff if they've been resting over a pillow, particularly if you have any arthritis in your knees. So do make sure that you do some loosening exercises in the morning. So the next thing we're going to think about is her head and position there. How does that feel, Tamzin?
I'm not particularly comfortable.
Okay, so if we just try a second pillow underneath and just see if that feels any better. Is that comfortable for you?
Yeah.
So she's feeling a bit more supported now, which is nice. Lovely. So we're still thinking about the waist. Now, if you can imagine that this is not a sheet, but it is actually a towel, but we haven't got any with us today. And I'm just going to roll that sheet just into a thin wedge, and I'm going to place it underneath Tamzin's back in her waist curve, just to give a little bit of additional support. Now, you don't want that too thick to make you arch your back too much, but just a little one. It will vary for every person, so you might need to experiment with this. How does that feel, Tamzin?
Supported.
Feels supported. So feel quite comfortable now. Lovely. There is a slight variation we can try for the neck, which could be to use 3 pillows to break that and put them into a V. So I've got 2 like this and 1 on the top, and that can sometimes help give a bit of support, particularly if you're somebody who suffers with shoulder pain as well. And if you need to, you can also put a pillow under your arm to just give support to your shoulder. How do you feel, Tamzin?
Yep, supported.
The last thing that you may wish to try is again a rolled towel, folded, just thinly, and that can go into the crease of your neck, so into the arch of your neck. Just again, it supports the curves of the spine. How does that feel, Tamzin?
The neck towel is really supportive.
So Tamzin really, really likes this neck towel. It won't suit all of you, but it really is worth giving it a try. So try these things, try one at a time or try all of them. Be prepared for the pillows to move, but hopefully it will help you feel a little more comfortable.
Thank you.
So we're now going to look at how to lie comfortably on your side whilst keeping the curves of your spine supported. As you can see, Tamzin's got her arm under her head, which is quite likely to mean she's stretching the nerves and she might wake up with pins and needles, so be mindful of that. Tamzin, are you comfortable at the moment?
No.
She's got one pillow. If you take your hand away from your head, you can probably see that her head is slightly bending over to the side, and that's going to be just making the little joints of your neck go into a close packed or a tight position. So we're just going to put another pillow under her head and just see how that feels.
No, that's better.
Okay. Just like you to notice that her shoulder is not on the pillow, it's below the pillow, because the pillows are there to support your neck. And what you might notice here is that her hip, her leg is pulling her forward slightly, and again that can be something that puts a bit of strain on your lower back. So again, it can be helpful to sometimes put a pillow between your legs. Tamzin, how does that feel?
Yeah, better.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Remember, we talked earlier about the curves of the waist and that it can be important to try and support those. Back to my nice cheap towel. Imagine it's a towel, not a sheet. And we're just going to pop it under into the curve of her waist, so above the pelvic bone, just below her ribs, so that that is just supporting her and giving her spine a bit more support. How does that feel, Tamzin?
Yeah, more comfortable.
More comfortable. And then lastly, if she's got shoulder pain, we can add a pillow at the front to give her some support too, and see how that feels. So Tamzin, how do you feel now?
Yeah, more supportive.
Yeah? Any problems at all?
I think I've still got a little space in my neck.
In your neck there. So the last thing we can do, well, one last thing, there's two things actually more to think about. We can again roll a little towel and pop it into the curve of her neck here. And you can tell me how that feels, Tamzin.
Yeah.
Just might put it down a little bit so it's in the curve.
Yeah, much better.
You could put that rolled towel inside your pillowcase so it stays in position a little bit more, which can be helpful. Some people don't like their legs resting together, so the other alternative is you could, on a bigger bed, this is difficult on a single bed, put your leg on two pillows in front of you. Okay, a little bit difficult to demonstrate on a skinny hospital bed, but there we are. And then the last thing you can try, if you have a shoelace, is to tie your pillow into a butterfly shape, and actually that can be used, if I take those out, sorry, to be put into the corner there, and if you need to, you can have a pillow at the top to just rest the top of your head onto in that position. Again, Tamzin generally quite likes that position. So you'd be pushing that pillow, just to show you again, you get a shoelace inside your pillowcase to tie it into a butterfly shape, and then it sits in there, and you may need a pillow above to put your head on. Okay, so hopefully some other ideas for you. Actually, one last thing is some people like to put a big pillow behind their back to stop themselves rolling backwards. We have patients who quite often have big long bolster pillows. What I would just say is don't spend lots of money, just try and optimise pillows to optimise your sleep. Thank you. So we come to the final position for sleeping in, which is called prone lying, or lying on your tummy sleepers. Those of you that work with me know that I very rarely say don't do something, but this would be something that I would consider trying to avoid. If you look at Tamzin at the moment, she's lying with her head turned to the right, and that's a bit like if you imagine me lying in that position, having my head round here, and if I was to lie like this for 3-4 hours, or even 1 hour, it's putting your head in a really closed, tight position, and then you've got your arm up above your head, which can then quite often cause pins and needles and tingling. And I suppose it's just to think that you wouldn't ever sit and watch a television for an hour like this, because you'd end up with neck pain. So it's just thinking, if you have got a neck problem, being mindful of what lying on your tummy can do. The other place that it can place a strain is here, because it can actually make you arch your back a little bit more. So just be mindful if you wake at night or you wake in the morning with increased pain, about thinking about trying an alternative position, which I appreciate can be really, really difficult. So we have worked with people to try and accommodate this, and it can be helpful sometimes to put a pillow under the tummy, so you almost are going in a slightly quarter tummy lying position, and that can be helpful. And then sometimes also popping a pillow under your head, just the edge of your head, so that your head can actually tilt down a little bit, which takes it away from here and lets it drop down to here. So those are the kind of options that you can do. We have had some people who've put a pillow under their tummy at night, which just relaxes your back a little bit. And we've had people who've had 2 pillows under their tummy. But I think it just really comes to mind that if you have shoulder, neck, hand problems with any pins and needles or numbness or pain, or neck pain or back pain that disturbs you at night, or is more painful in the morning, that you may consider trying to alter your position. That will take you some time, because we're creatures of habit and we get used to positions of comfort at night time. But just have a little think about that. Thank you.